Hey, VC here, talking about the new bike. New bike days, they're awesome. Today, we've got the Ultimate SLX 9 from Canyon. It's pretty dope, dude. I've been riding it for maybe a month, and I'm in love. I want to talk about it, I want to talk about why I got it, and not necessarily break this down into a full-on review, but kind of give you my impressions on this bike and my thoughts. Let's get into it. Let's go through the little features on this bike. First of all, it's an Ultegra group set. It is a 50-34, 11-28, so it's a compact gear ratio. The idea is that this is a climbing machine. I wanted it to be ultra light, and I wanted to climb my D off on it, and this does that. So that's what we went with, is the 50-34. It actually came with a 52-36. Swapped it out with a dual-sided stages power meter, actually, so that I could run the Look Keo pedals, the carbon fiber pedals, which I went with those mainly because I wanted the same cleat setup as my Power Tap pedals. I love my Power Tap pedals. They're phenomenal. But this is to be an ultra lightweight climbing machine. Carbon fiber bottle cages from POC, they sent those to me a long time ago, and I just had them, so I threw them on here. I'm running the Wahoo bolt with the little Canyon. It comes from Canyon, the mount that goes underneath the bars. The whole front cockpit's like an integrated stem, and I have my GoPro mount just stickied right onto the actual surface of the bars. It came with tubeless ready DT Swiss carbon wheels, extremely light, and it has a physique saddle. So the only things different about this straight out of the box would be the compact gear group set, right, from the Ultegra stages group set, the Look pedals, putting those on, the Wahoo bolt mount, and the GoPro, the GoPro sticky stem, which works amazing, actually. So for one, I broke my Diamondback. I loved my Diamondback. I don't want to be that guy that says something about a product and then just always switching around like everything is amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love this song.
Everything is awesome.
Look, I really liked my Diamondback. I was being a total idiot riding out of Yosemite, ran into the back of a truck, and I hung on to the truck. But it's my fault. I broke my bike, broke my Diamondback. I will get that fixed. That will be my crit racing bike. I'm gonna make that, I'm gonna custom paint it and get it fixed, and that will just be everything I need for racing crits. But I wanted something that was a climbing monster. I climb a lot. I'm always climbing. I'm going for KOMs. I wanted something light. I wanted something stiff. I wanted something dope. And dude, the SLX 9 is like exactly what I wanted. I didn't go with disc brakes because I wanted it to be lighter. That was the whole purpose, be light. So disc brakes, I wasn't not going for that. Again, did not go with the aero version. I went with the climbing version because it was significantly lighter. If I had gone with disc brake aero, I mean, it's like 3 pounds heavier, something like that. I mean, it's a significant difference. And if you're talking about over like an hour-long climb, bro, like, this is gonna save you a ton of energy. Now, I did get the hookup on this, okay, so you gotta take what I'm saying with that, I guess. But what my pitch was to Canyon was like, hey man, I'm gonna go do this really humongous Fondo. 156 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing. I want a pure climbing beast. That's kind of how that relationship came about, was this sort of partnership towards this video about the Climb to Kaiser, which will come out soon. But dude, I mean, I think I'd been on this bike 3 days before I did 156 miles and 16,000 feet of climbing on it. And I smashed that race. I won by 17 minutes. Like, what? I couldn't believe how stiff and how light. I mean, it just climbs so well. I mean, everything about it is like, dude, I'm just in love with this bike. And I was in love with my Diamondback. I loved my Diamondback. I still do. I'm gonna get it fixed, like I said. I would have said there wasn't much more I could improve upon on how I felt with my Diamondback, but dude, this bike just feels, and I don't know if it's the cockpit or the geometry or what it is, but it feels so stiff. It feels like when I put the power into the pedals, it just goes. I mean, when I first got on this, dude, I was smashing KOMs on it. I won that big Climb to Kaiser race. I did a Patterson Pass race, which is like notoriously one of the harder races in our scene. Very climby, and I finished third. The two guys who beat me are legit pros. So, like, as soon as I got this bike, I started getting kind of some results. It's really crazy. I know that you wouldn't think like 2 or 3 pounds makes that big of a difference, but I also think that the stiffness and that lightweight, and maybe just the way that my body's positioned, my Diamondback, I had it slammed, right? It was like very raked. This, I didn't slam the head stem, or the stem all the way down. I sort of kept it a little more comfortable. So I actually can use the drops. Before in my Diamondback, I never used the drops because they felt too far away. But there's just something about how this sets up for me, and obviously like fit is a big thing, right? I mean, but just out of the box, this fit me really, really well. And I have been enjoying this bike a ton. Probably my favorite part of this bike is the cockpit. I really, really like this integrated handlebar system. I like the flat bars. Dude, I can rest my arms on it. I don't know, dude, the cockpit just feels so good. And that was one of my biggest gripes about the Diamondback, was the cockpit. Like, I loved everything else but the handlebars, which could be changed. I just wasn't a big fan of that. I'm a huge fan of the Canyon stock bars, dude. Huge fan. Now, they have a lighter version of this bike, but it's like $5 grand more or something. It's pretty, there's a huge jump to get that like extra half a kilo off. And so this SLX 9 non-disc version, non-Di2, it's just manual, right? So I'm not getting the bells and whistles and braking or shifting, but I'm getting the lightest thing that is within a reasonable price. Now, you may not want to be racing, or you might not want to be going for KOMs or doing whatever, but dude, having a super light, stiff bike allows you to use less energy at the same amount of speed. And I don't know, man, I don't know if I'm just like feeling really good, like my fitness is on par, like everything is really, I'm feeling great right now. But this bike just sort of lends to like what my strengths are, I think. I feel spoiled on it, right? I feel like I should ride another heavier bike during training, so that when I go and race, it feels super good or light or whatever, because when I'm out just training, I feel almost that I have too good of a machine to just be noodling around. They do have a disc version. They do have a Di2 version, electronic shifting. And so if that's something that you wanted, you know, like, sure. But again, like I said, it's not what I'm after. It's not what I'm after. I'm after pure weight savings within reason. But yeah, man, my impressions on this thing, super duper stiff, very, very light. And for me, being tall, I guess, I don't know why it is, but this feels, it's the best bike I've ever rode, feeling wise. It feels phenomenal. I am interested in getting the Diamondback fixed and then sort of being able to compare those two once I've been riding this a lot and going back to the Diamondback and see how that feels in comparison. But for right now, man, I've gotten the two best results that I've ever gotten in my cycling journey on this bike. I rode 156 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing on it. And so, I mean, if you're thinking, well, maybe it's just a pure race bike, like, dude, that was a full-on adventure. I mean, it was 8 hours, 42 minutes was the total time on that thing. And, you know, I'm not cramping up, like I'm not sore, I'm not, other than the ride, right? So yeah, dude, this is the new bike that I'm running. Again, I have a Felt F1 that I use like on Zwift and on the trainer, and do go out and train a little bit on. I'll get the Diamondback fixed, but this just, dude, I just want to ride this all the time. It's freaking amazing. I also really like the paint job, that like flat matte black. I'm a big fan of just like murdered out stuff. Anyway, bro, Canyon SLX 9 is on fire. As always, vegan cyclist. Yeah.